So part C is going to be all of our work. We want to figure out what is the second derivative at the spot where x is -1 and y is 1. So let's go ahead and compute this. So currently we have that dy dx is y over 3y squared minus x. And we're doing this in respect to x. Notice that's dx. So we are deriving respect to x. So we're going to do an implicit differentiation. It's not in respect to time. So it's the only thing we do chain rules on that y. So let's go ahead and do quotient rule. So we're going to do f prime times g. So f is y. So f prime is y prime. And g is 3y squared minus x. So g prime, if you remember chain rule on these implicit differentiations, that's 6y times y prime, because the inner function is y here. You bring down the 2 times 3 is 6. You still have to multiply by the inner function of y, which is y prime, and then minus 1. Because we're taking the derivative in respect to x, we don't call it x prime, we call it 1, because it's dx dx. So running that through the quotient rule, we will have f prime times g, so we're going to have y prime times 3y squared minus x minus g, f times g prime, so that's minus y times 6y times y prime minus 1. And then all of this over g squared, which is 3y squared minus x squared. Now really we just want to evaluate this at -1, 1. So what is y prime? Well, dy dx is y prime, right? At -1, 1, evaluate that. And I'm wondering that's the same one we did earlier, right? So we got 1/4 with that earlier. So that's going to go in for our y prime. So this derivative, basically this one here, is going to equal 1/4 times 3 times y squared, so y is 1, minus x, which is -1, minus y, which is 1, times 6 times 1, times y prime, which is 1/4, minus 1. Really just a long bunch of work there. And then that's going to be over 3 times 1 squared minus -1 squared. So hopefully we don't get too lost here. I'll just move this down, give us some room, and focus on this part now. So we have 1/4 times 3 plus 1 is 4. Well, that's nice. And then minus 1, so we'll just kind of ignore that. And then on the inside there, we'll have 6 over 4, so 3 over 2 minus 1. All over 3 plus 1 is 4 squared. So that's going to be 1 minus 1/2 over 16. So that's 1/2 over 16. And remember that 16 is the bottom part. Let me give us some more room here. So that equals 1/2 times 1 over 16, which is 1 over 32.